Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics. How do you like my hat this week? This week, there were 2,058 alerts from 417 out of the over 1,400 regulators that we cover in the United States. 543 had to do with financial services, 363 had to do with coronavirus, 51 had to do with FinTech in some way, and 10 had to do with cannabis. And yes, now we are covering over 1,400 U.S. regulators. Did you even know there were over 1,400 U.S. regulators? I sure didn't when we started. But we actually estimate there's over 6,000 state-level regulators. And if you're following local issues like land use and tax rules, you're going to have to get down to the city and the county level. So we're actually estimating there's over 25,000 regulators in the United States and over 5 million globally. Our goal at RegAlytics is to become the Airbnb of regulation. So the same way you can say, oh, I want to go to Miami in a 2-bedroom this weekend, and then immediately change your mind and say, oh, how about a 5-bedroom in San Diego instead? We want you to someday be able to say, show me every new crypto regulation in Canada in the last 6 months. Oh, wait, no. Show me everything about stablecoin in Wyoming. So for this week, I'm going to talk about crypto regulations in 2020. I'm not a singer, but I did write a crypto regulatory poem based on the classic holiday song, The 12 Days of Christmas. If you're lucky, I'll sing it at the end. In the first month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me an insane case in Washington state where a token return went horribly. Duber Technologies was a cannabis token that wasn't issuing a security, but then when they returned the investment, they then got nailed by the regulators for not registering in the first place. In the second month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me 2 monster meetings. Number 1, the Technology Advisory Committee of the CFTC met to discuss stablecoins for the first time. They also talked about cryptocurrency self-regulatory organizations and custody. Also, the Global Financial Action Task Force countries met in Paris to discuss virtual assets and how to better track money laundering and terrorist financing in the space. And look, it doesn't fit my model because it's the third one when it's supposed to be only 2. But seriously, Steven Seagal, the great martial arts actor, got busted for promoting an ICO. So good. In the third month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me 3 SEC alerts. ICE Futures opened the Bakkt Bitcoin monthly futures market maker program, as well as the options contracts executing broker rebate program that, if you haven't been paying attention, have been doing really well. And the SEC also nailed a Washington state senator for selling an unregistered digital asset called the Metacoin to pay for personal expenses and luxury automobiles, including a $250,000 Ferrari. In the fourth month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me 4 COVID scams, including the Texas State Securities Board shut down a cryptocurrency mining company that was promising to double investors' money in 1 year while also claiming to be contributing the money to UNICEF to fight COVID-19. On the 5th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me the CFTC, which filed a $20 million digital asset fraud fine based in Florida. But also in May, the New Jersey Bureau of Securities filed a cease and desist order against a bunch of websites that were offering unregistered securities in investments related to cannabis, Bitcoin, and plant-based meat substitutes. On the 6th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me the definition of delivery. That's right. In June, the CFTC proposed a definition of actual delivery for certain types of digital assets. On the 7th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me 7 reports. The OCC clarified how national banks and federal savings associations can provide cryptocurrency custody services. The Financial Action Task Force finished a review of how all of the jurisdictions were doing in implementing the new standards for virtual assets. And it's sort of cheating because that's 1 and 2, but the J5, which are the Joint Chiefs of Global Tax Enforcement, issued a report reflecting on the last 2 years of hunting global tax cheats together, especially in the virtual currency space. On the 8th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me 8 money transmission license reviews. Between Florida and the former California DBO, a number of companies with unique virtual asset business models, including crypto ATM, payment processor companies using blockchain technology, and more, went to the various states to ask if they should be considered money services business. Lots of them are fun to read, and the thinking has continued to evolve state by state. On the 9th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me literally 20 entities charged by the CFTC for virtual Forex and digital asset scams. Also in September, a really big letter from the OCC clarifying its thinking about stablecoins. In the 10th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me at least $10 billion in fraudulent fundraising schemes. Between the SEC, FinCEN, the CFTC, and Texas, there were a ton of shutdowns that month, including a Texas big spree finding Craigslist crypto solicitations. And it also had CFTC's really big action against BitMEX, which was an unregistered trading platform, which had actually raised over $11 billion in Bitcoin deposits and took in over $1 billion of fees. Also, the United States Department of Justice published a cryptocurrency enforcement framework they will use for enforcement. On the 11th month of 2020, my RegAlytics gave to me centralized money services business licensing from the Conference of State Bank Supervisors. Also, the CFTC issued a staff advisory on virtual currencies for future commissions merchants. And finally, on the 12th month of 2020, RegAlytics gave to me, so far, exactly 12 critical FinTech alerts. Our weekly FinTech feed covers everything from crypto to data privacy to cybersecurity and emerging tech. If you want to know what this week's FinTech alerts are, just email us at help@regalytics.ai and we will send you a free holiday gift via email. In the meantime, that's it this week for RegAlytics US Alerts. Join me next Wednesday morning as I go through cannabis regs.